Daring Greatly: How the Courage to be Vulnerable Transforms the Way We Live, Love, Parent, and Lead, is a riveting exploration of the power of vulnerability, penned by the renowned research professor and storyteller, Brené Brown. This is not a book that merely skims the surface of human emotions, but rather plunges into the depths, investigating our inherent need for connection, the stinging wounds of shame, and the transformative power of daring to be seen in our authentic imperfection. Brown, armed with years of extensive qualitative research and her compassionate eloquence, brings forth a profound revelation. Vulnerability is not a sign of weakness, but the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and change. She challenges the culture of scarcity and fear that promotes the idea that we are never enough, thus perpetuating a relentless cycle of shame, disconnection, and disengagement. Daring Greatly begins with a dissection of vulnerability. Often misconstrued as a weakness, Brown redefines it as an emotional risk, exposure, and uncertainty. It's the open-hearted experience that forms the cornerstone of human connection, be it love, belonging, or joy. She writes, vulnerability is not winning or losing, it's having the courage to show up and be seen when we have no control over the outcome. The book then delves into the corrosive effects of shame, a universal emotion often kept hidden in the shadows of our consciousness. Brown illuminates how shame hampers our capacity to dare greatly, creating barriers to feeling worthy of love and belonging. She encourages us to develop shame resilience by recognizing these feelings, communicating about them, and changing the narrative we tell ourselves. Moreover, Brown debunks the myth of vulnerability being a product of complacency, highlighting the reality that daring greatly requires practice and conscious choice. It demands us to embrace our imperfections, confront our fears, and discard the armor we use to protect ourselves from potential harm or judgment. It's about stepping into the arena of life, fully exposed, and battling our way to true engagement and connection. Brown also addresses the role of vulnerability in parenting, suggesting it as an avenue for teaching children about courage, compassion, and resilience. She urges parents to cultivate a home environment where vulnerability is not just accepted, but celebrated, fostering a sense of worthiness and daring in the hearts of the younger generation. Finally, the book touches upon the implications of vulnerability in leadership and organizational culture. Brown argues that innovation cannot occur without the risk of failure, and hence, organizations must create a culture that encourages vulnerability, fosters trust, and supports individuals when they stumble. Leaders who dare greatly are those who value the courage to be imperfect, promoting empathy, connection, and creativity within their teams. Daring Greatly is a beacon of hope in a world often dominated by a fear of not being enough. It is a stirring call to embrace our vulnerabilities, to step into the uncertain, and to dare greatly in every facet of our lives. Brown's message is powerfully compelling and universally resonant. The pathway to a more fulfilling, engaged, and courageous life lies in our capacity to be authentically seen, in our willingness to lean into discomfort, and in our courage to embrace our shared human experience, in all its messy, beautiful imperfection. In essence, Daring Greatly is more than just a book, it is an intimate conversation, a shared journey, and a life-affirming manifesto. It invites us to step away from the sidelines of our lives and dare to enter the arena, reminding us that it is not about the certainty of victory, but about the valor in showing up and being seen. As we close the final pages, we are left with the echoing reminder of Brown's central message: the courage to be vulnerable is not a sign of weakness, but the greatest measure of our courage. Daring Greatly challenges us to shed the armor we've constructed to protect ourselves from the slings and arrows of judgment, failure, and the fear of inadequacy. Brown pushes us to recognize that this armor not only shields us from pain, but also prevents us from experiencing the joy, love, and sense of belonging that stem from genuine connection. Through engrossing anecdotes and compelling research, Brown demonstrates the transformative power of vulnerability in various domains of our lives, from our personal relationships to our professional interactions. She proposes that by embracing our vulnerability, we allow ourselves to experience the richness of our emotional spectrum, from the depths of despair to the pinnacles of joy. The book closes with an invitation to take up the gauntlet of vulnerability and dare greatly, in spite of the potential risk and uncertainty. Brown posits that in letting ourselves be seen, truly and wholly, in our raw and unpolished states, we open ourselves up to the possibilities of richer and more meaningful connections. It is in these moments of openness and authenticity that we truly step into our own, becoming architects of a braver, kinder, and more empathetic world.